Hello everyone.
Today we're diving deep into the iPhone 16's camera. Quick note, the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus cameras are identical, so this applies to both models. The Pro models, however, have some differences. Let's start by breaking down the specs for each camera lens. The main lens boasts a 48MP sensor, f1, 6 aperture, dual pixel PDF, and sensor shift OIS. On the back there's also an ultra-wide lens featuring a 12MP sensor, f2, 2 aperture, and dual pixel PDF. It has auto macro mode and a 120 degrees field of view. Lastly, on the phone's front, we've got the selfie camera with a 12MP sensor, f1, 9 aperture, PDAF autofocus, deep fusion, and true depth. Overall, the iPhone 16 performs well in auto mode. Just point and shoot for great detail, sharpness, and lighting with the main sensor. The wide-angle lens struggles more in auto, with some edge distortion visible. The main lens shoots 12MP by default, but Apple offers 24MP for better detail and even up to 48MP. MP shots are much larger files. While not obvious at first, zooming in reveals the improvements. Despite lacking optical zoom, we can apply 2x zoom with minimal loss, thanks to image cropping from the original 48 megapixels. This is what Apple calls the fusion camera. Using the main lens in auto mode, the iPhone 16 processes at 12MP, delivering good quality results overall, both day and night. At first glance, they show a good level of detail. HDR is solid, though it tends to overexpose dark areas. Color naturalness and white balance accuracy are prominent. As light decreases, we start to notice some limitations. Photos may show a watercolor effect, some noise, and loss of sharpness. This occurs in auto mode, as the phone tends to increase ISO rather than adjusting shutter speed, despite having optical stabilization. As usual, manually adjusting parameters yields better results. I recommend choosing 24MP in the EOS 18 camera menu. For the best shots, activate resolution control to shoot at 48MP. As mentioned, it's not much better visually, but noticeable when zoomed in. The wide-angle lens is the weakest, but still usable with pros and cons. In good light, HDR is more balanced than the main lens. Detail is good, maintaining light, color, and white balance of the main lens. Switching between lenses is quick and seamless. Basic iPhones now have auto macro mode via wide angle, with good results. As before in low light or at night, the wide-angle lens struggles with balanced photos and darker areas. In good light, images show some noise and a watercolor effect. In lower light, photos may become blurry. Night mode helps fix these lens issues, but it's sensitive to shaking and vibrations. Looking at the iPhone 16's main camera menu and modes, we find the standard photo mode, with options we've seen in previous models, cinematic mode for film-style video, slow motion mode at 240 FPS in 1080p, time-lapse video, portrait mode with lighting options and manual bokeh adjustment, panoramic photo capture, and lastly, one of this year's new features. iPhone 16 can also record spatial videos for playback on Apple Vision Pro. After examining the main rear camera, let's move on to the front camera. Selfies are generally high quality, sharp, with well-defined backgrounds, natural blur, and good lighting. In low light, results do decline, but less than I expected across all lenses. Faces keep natural tones, with proper lighting and visible skin textures. Now, let's shift from photos to video, where the iPhone 16 shines as a top-tier camera. The video recordings are of excellent quality. It supports up to 4K at 60 FPS with Dolby Vision, but only in high-efficiency mode. Cinema mode offers 4K HDR at 30 FPS, with 2.8K 60 FPS action mode support. Additionally, the main camera's stabilization works well, eliminating vibrations. The phone can record video and spatial audio, plus slow-mo at 240 FPS in 1080p. Videos are highly detailed, sharp, and stable, even when walking with the iPhone. Color treatment and white balance are natural, with good HDR and color contrast. Personally, I'd say its video quality rivals that of higher-end iPhone models. Now, after reviewing the cameras and their overall performance, I want to focus on one of the new features of the iPhone 16 that's directly related to photography, the camera control button. In this case, we find a button that's both physical and capacitive, a combination that, in my opinion, doesn't quite deliver optimal results. It's tricky to know if you're pressing the button enough to access functions or take a photo. The button is on the right side of the phone, making it super easy to find and use when holding the phone horizontally, like a regular camera shutter. But it's awkward to reach when the iPhone is held vertically. It's uncomfortable to use with one hand, so you need both, which feels quite strange. The button is mainly for switching between shooting functions like zoom, focal length, or styles. A soft double tap brings up the controls, which you operate by sliding your finger along the button. While this seems designed especially for zooming, it doesn't work well as the button's range is so short you have to lift your finger multiple times and repeat to get close enough. If you don't use the button much, on-screen controls are more comfortable and quicker. It's true that it's all about practice and habit, and if you use it regularly, you'll get used to it, but generally I find it quite cumbersome and unnecessary. In short, we have a camera nearly identical to the iPhone 15s. If it's just for this feature, I'd say the upgrade isn't worth it, as the main new feature, the camera control button, ends up being quite dispensable and not very useful. We'll have to wait and see if Apple gives this button a different approach in future updates, or if they wait for the next generation to improve the cameras or come up with a more interesting innovation. Well guys, that's it for this video. As always, I hope you found it helpful. If so, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated. That's all from me. As always, it's been a pleasure. See you in the next video.